Hey everyone, I'm back with an absolutely classic in store for you guys today. It's Scream from 1996. Alright, let's not waste any more time. Time to get on with the recap. The movie kicks off with a phone ringing, and hey look, it's Drew Barrymore. It's Casey. She flirts with the caller for a bit, and honestly speaking, it's pretty weird. Is this what romance was like in the 90s? Anyway, things get creepy soon enough when the caller turns out to be a mysterious and murderous stalker. Damn dude, at least he got her popcorn. The creep continues to give us a lot of meta commentary, but then the tone changes instantly when Casey finds her boyfriend, Steve, all beaten and tied up. The caller wants to play a game, and well, I guess this is where Jigsaw got his inspiration from. The maniac lets us know the original killer from the Friday the 13th franchise and does some killing of his own when he rips out Steven's intestines. Damn, dude. He plays around with Katie again and breaks into her house. Yeah, that popcorn's totally wasted now. The killer and Katie play a game of cat and mouse, and I gotta say this dude is a little bit clumsy, but eventually he does get the job done, and that too in a pretty brutal way. I can't believe they actually killed the biggest star of the movie right at the beginning. Okay, now we get to meet the real star of the show, Sidney Prescott. She's got some pretty intrusive men in her life. First her boyfriend Billy, and then her overprotective dad. Billy's a bit of a horn dog, and he's upset because his girlfriend isn't doing the nasty with him. He's sick of this PG-related relationship and somehow convinces her to get a little naughty with him. But yeah, I think it's pretty obvious that she doesn't get what he came for. Ew. Well, at least he gets a little R-rated sneak peek from Sidney before he goes home to probably waste another song. Bro. Sidney goes to school the next day and look, it's Monica. Oh wait, wrong franchise. It's just Gale Weathers. But we also meet this cop named Dewey. He's just here to make us laugh. Next up, we got Sidney's friends. Her bestie Tatum, who's also Dewey's sister, a horror nerd, Randy, and also Tatum's hyper-weird boyfriend, Stu. Yeah, they're your typical horror movie stereotypes, and that's fine because that's exactly why this film's so popular. It challenges all the typical cliches. Sidney's at home right now and he watches some news. We find out that her mom was the victim of a very brutal murder not too long ago. Well, that's gotta be pretty rough. Later, she gets a call from the same weird killer, but then she just assumes it's Randy playing a prank. Unfortunately for her, the sicko doesn't waste any time and creeps it up pretty quickly. Sidney makes fun of slasher movie tropes, but then does something pretty weird herself by walking out to her front door and looking for the dude. She gets pissed when he hints that he's the one who really killed her mom, so she gets back inside and locks the door. As you can expect, it doesn't really take long for the killer to show up and attack her. Yeah, he's silly as usual, and it allows Sidney to run up to her room and lock the door before she tries to contact the cops. The killer vanishes and Billy conveniently just pops up right after. He tries to calm Sidney down, but then he drops the phone and makes him look pretty sus. Sidney ain't having any of that shit, so he runs out of the house and bumps into Dewey in a pretty funny jump scare. Okay, Billy gets arrested and Tatum also shows up to give her bestie some emotional support. Haha, I love how she just tears into her brother. They've got a pretty funny relationship. We then learn that Gale is a bit of a bitch. This can be seen by how she treats her cameraman Kenny. Come on, Monica, that's not very nice. We're now at the police station where standard police stuff happens before Dewey gets the girls back home. They get out from the back because of all the press that's present, but then Gale's one step ahead of the game and she follows them. It turns out that Sidney doesn't like her because she wrote a book on her mom's murder and said some pretty nasty things about her too. They exchange some words before Sidney lands a nice shot on the evil journalist. Damn, she really is the wild thing. The girls enjoy their sleepover, but then, surprise surprise, the killer calls again and taunts Sidney over sending the wrong woman to jail. Dewey tries to play cool, but just makes us laugh some more. Dude, this guy's a complete meme lord. Alright, the next day, Sidney meets Gale and confronts her all about the way that she exploited her mom's story to sell her book. But then it turns out that Sidney might have been in the wrong about the guy that she put behind bars. Well, Sidney really shouldn't be trusted with this kind of stuff. She bumps into Billy at school and they have an awkward conversation before she runs off like she's got a bee chasing her. It really doesn't help that the other school kids are making fun of Sidney and trying to spread rumors about her. Things get a bit creepy in the girls' washroom when the killer comes after her, but she makes her escape and this prompts Principal Himbry to suspend all classes for now. Meanwhile, Gail flirts with Dewey to try and get some inside information, and she succeeds pretty easily. I mean, it's not exactly the brightest bulb on the planet. A citywide curfew also gets imposed, and this pushes Stu to celebrate with a party. Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. Himbry tries out his new Halloween costume, but then he hears some weird noises and checks it out. It's just the director dressed up as Freddy Krueger in a nice little cameo. That's as good as it gets for Himbry because the killer pops up and stabs the dude. He dies after making some pretty funny noises. Man, this movie's equal parts horror and comedy. Alright, then we get a bunch of character development stuff between the girls and boys, but one thing's for sure, Billy and Stu are definite weirdos. Also, I can't really get over the fact that they used Peaky Blinders' theme song as a background score in this movie. The movie plot moves a little forward as the cops suspect Sidney's dad when the murder calls get traced back to his phone. Stu's party kicks off and Gail manages to sneak inside after flirting with Dewey. That kind of pisses Tatum off, so she goes to get some beer. The door gets locked and she tries to get out of there, but that goofy psycho is back at it again. She thinks it's a prank, so she tries for a bit longer, but things get serious when he slashes at her. You know, Tatum actually manages to beat the shit out of him, so I don't really understand why she decides to suddenly escape using the cat door. That's so stupid. Anyway, the killer manages to make the most of this opportunity and switches on the garage door. It carries her up and snaps her neck. Damn, I kinda like Tatum. Billy shows up at the party right after this, and now I'm definitely sure he's involved in something shady. Sidney ignores my suspicions and takes him upstairs to have a nice little chat. That chat is filled with horror movie references as well. It kinda gets her in the mood to get nasty. Yep, Billy finally gets freaky with this girl. Meanwhile, Randy and some other party members discuss horror movie survival rules, while Gail and Kenny spy on them with a camera that she planted while she was there. Dewey wants to check up on a mysterious car, and he takes Gail with him on a walk because I guess they're kinda dating now? I don't know. Randy gets a call informing him about Principal Himbry's death, and for some reason the other kids leave so that they can celebrate it? Yeah, these guys are weird, but at least they help Gail and Dewey get a bit closer. As a matter of fact, they got so close that their actors actually got married soon after the movie. Back to the movie, Dewey and Gail find Sidney's dad's car and suspect something's fishy, so they head back to the house. Sidney and Billy are done with their dirty business now, but she still has questions for him about his presence during her attack. He's pissed to hear that, but all her doubts are laid to rest when the killer shows up and freaking stabs Billy. Whoa, so he really is innocent too. Well, he's dead now, or is he? Sidney runs away and jumps out of the window. After landing, she finds Tatum's body. I was wondering why nobody even saw her while leaving. The killer finds Randy, who's watching Halloween, and is about to stab him in a very meta situation. But he hears Sidney screaming outside and goes after her instead. She finds Kenny and enters the van, but the poor cameraman gets killed immediately after. Sidney avoids the killer and runs away while Dewey gets back and inspects the house. Now Gail is really in a hyper scene, where she finds Kenny's body and starts her car like a crazy person. It really just ends with her crashing into a tree after Sidney jumps in front of her asking for help. Yeah, that was a lot to take in. Sidney goes back to the house and finds Dewey, but he's been stabbed. Oh no, don't kill the poor idiot. Sidney radios for help in Dewey's car, but the killer pops up and they struggle for a bit. I honestly don't know how this dude's been able to kill so many people because his technique is so flawed. Now, listen, I'm not an expert serial killer, but I've just got common sense. Sidney heads back into the house and all of a sudden both Stu and Randy randomly show up. They accuse each other of being the killer and try to convince Sidney to let them in, but she ignores both of them and locks herself inside. Hey look, Billy's still alive. I guess he's gonna be the hero now, right? Sidney helps him up and he allows Randy inside, which is definitely the right call. But wait, he shoots him right after? Shit, he's been the bad guy all along. Now Stu shows up and wait, they're both the killers? Yeah, it turns out that they're the psychos behind these murders, and they also killed Sidney's mom a year ago because she was having an affair with Billy's dad, and that led to his mom abandoning him. Dude, that's no reason to brutally murder someone. Bruh, Stu really goes mental here. Like, what's he even doing? But wait, there's more. They've tied up Sidney's dad and revealed that they've cloned his phone so that they can frame him for everything. To do this, they're gonna stab themselves so they can appear to be victims, and then they'll make it look like he shot himself out of guilt. That plan isn't actually all that bad if they actually executed it properly. Instead, they just stab each other like a bunch of whack jobs. Also, I'm totally convinced that these two are actually into each other. They're feeling a little woozy, so they look for the gun, but they can't find it. And now Gale shows up like a total boss woman and threatens them. But she doesn't know shit about shooting, so she's got the safety off. Billy just knocks her out, but then Sydney escapes and we get a really funny sequence where Stu really loses his shit. Wait a second, I know that guy. That's Shaggy. What? The comedy stops when Sydney sneak attacks Billy with an umbrella while dressed as Ghostface. Yes, that's his name. And knocks him out. She gets chased by Stu, but he's really weak from all the stabbing, so she kills him by dropping the freaking television on him. God damn, shit, that's such a sweet kill. Hey look, Randy's alive too. And so is Billy. He attacks Sydney, but this time, Gale knows how to shoot. So she lays into the deranged psychopath with a neat shot. Sydney does a double tap and kills him for good when Randy reminds her about the typical horror movie cliche. Okay, so now Sydney's dad is set free and even Dewey's alive. Looks like they need him for the sequels. The movie ends with Gale reporting on the event with her new crew. R.I.P. cameraman. There you go guys, that was Scream. Nobody can deny the impact this movie had on the genre, and I can definitely see why. Like, share and subscribe if horror recaps are your thing, and hit me up on my Patreon for more exclusive goodies. I'll see you there.